at reading. Okay,
Okay.
and open to page 785. And the last headword was insist.
Insist.
785.
85.
Mm-hmm.
85.
Lesson
Okay.
126. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Insist. If you and a friend ate in a restaurant and your friend paid the whole bill, would you insist on paying for them next time? Yes, if a friend and I ate in a restaurant and my friend
Mm-hmm.
paid the whole bill. My
I'd
friend or
insist on.
I I'd insist on paying for them next time.
Very good.
Board, floorboard, notice board, deck, deck,
Deck.
deck,
Wooden.
wooden, port, direct,
Director.
director. Eh, what's the base meaning of the word board? The base meaning of
One more.
the
The basic.
basic. The basic meaning of the word board, a flat piece of wood.
Mm-hmm.
Give me some examples of what we get from the word board. Some examples of what we get from the word board are floorboard, notice board, etc.
Mm-hmm.
What do we use a notice board for? We use a notice board for putting notices on as a way of providing everybody with news and information in an office, school, etc. Do you always have to show your passport before you can board a plane?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I always have to show my passport before I
I
can
can.
board a plane.
Mm-hmm.
What would happen if you went on board ship to say goodbye to a friend and you
Remained.
remained remained on board after the ship
Had.
had left port? If I went on board ship to say goodbye
Mm.
to a friend
And I
and I remained on board after the ship
had
had
left.
left port. I'd have to leave the ship at the next available port.
Mm-hmm.
What do we mean by a board of directors? By a board of directors, we mean a group
Of directors.
of directors. Group of directors.
Mm-hmm.
What do we mean
One
by
more. A group of directors who control.
uh, eh, okay, we mean group of directors who control a company or other
Organ. Organi.
organization.
Very good.
What do we mean by a board meeting? By a board meeting, we mean a meeting of company directors.
Very good.
If you stayed at the hotel on holiday, would you choose full board, half board, or bed and breakfast? If I stayed at the hotel on holiday, I'd choose bed and breakfast
Very good. Why?
because because I prefer
Mm-hmm.
to
To eat.
to eat out out.
To eat out.
Okay.
Yeah, very good.
to eat out. はい。
Hmm.
crash. クラッシュ。Why are some passengers afraid that the airplane they are on could crash even though flying is possibility the s-
Possibly
possibly the
safest.
safest way to travel.
Hmm.
Some passengers afraid that the airplane their their own could crash even though flying is possibly the safest
Way to
way
travel.
to travel because they have no control over the airplane.
Hmm.
Airplane because plane crashes are
Are always.
always very serious
Hmm.
and purpose because they feel it's unnatural for each a big,
Touch a big.
heavy, such a big, heavy object to be able to fly.
Very good. Okay, so that's the end of reading. Very good. So now let's move on to revision.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Is there a big contrast in landscape across the different states of the USA? Is there a big contrast in landscape across the different state in the USA? Yes or no?
Yes,
There's a big contrast
there's a big contrast
in landscape
in landscape
across the different states
across different states
of the USA.
of the USA.
Very good. Give me an example of the expression in contrast. Give me an example of the expression in contrast, please. Trade with
Trade
European countries
with European countries
has fallen steadily.
has fallen steadily.
In contrast,
In contrast,
trade with the USA,
trade
trade with
of
the
uh,
USA
trade with USA
has increased
has increased
during the same period.
during the same period.
Very good. Okay. If somebody tells you you'd better watch your step, what do they mean? If somebody tells you you'd better watch your step, what do they mean? If somebody
If somebody
tells me
tells me
I'd better watch my step,
I'd better watch my step,
they mean I need to be careful,
they mean I need to be careful,
perhaps because
perhaps because
of possible danger. We got a
of
night?
possible danger.
Should we always watch our step when doing business with people we know nothing about? Should we always watch our step when doing business with people we know nothing about? Yes, we should
Yes,
always
we should always
watch our step
watch a step
when doing business
when doing business
with people
with
we
people
know nothing about.
we know nothing about.
Where if you were caught red-handed stealing something, would you declare yourself innocent before the judge when you appeared in court for your trial? If you were caught red-handed stealing something, would you declare yourself innocent before the judge when you appeared in court for your trial? Yes or no?
Yes,
If I were caught
if I were caught
red-handed
red-handed
stealing something,
stealing something,
I'd declare myself
I'd declare myself
innocent
innocent
before the judge
before the judge
when I appeared in court.
when I appeared in court
Why? Why? Because I
because
don't want to go
I don't want to
to
go
jail.
to jail.
Very good. Okay. When was the last time your country declared war on another country? When was the last time your country declared war on another country? The last time
The last time
my country
my country
declared war
declared war
on another country
on another country
was about
was about
80,
nine
90
uh,
years ago.
nine nine. はい。80?
Eight-
80 years
eighty
ago.
80 years ago. Very good. Do you think it's always wise to declare your future plans to other people? Do you think it's always wise to declare your plans to other people? Yes or no?
Yes,
I think it's wise
I think it's
to
wise
declare your plans,
to declare
your future plans
your future plans
to other people.
to other people
Why? Why? Because they
because
might help you
they might help you
with your plans.
with your plans.
Very good. Okay, next. How can we tell when people are in love? How can we tell when people are in love? We can tell
We can tell
when people
when
are
people
in love
are in love
because they hold hands,
because they hold hands,
walk arm in arm,
walk arm in arm,
hug each other,
hug each other,
etc.
etc.
Very good. Do you think it's possible to tell anything about a person's character just from a photo? Do you think it's possible to tell anything about the person's character just from a photo? Yes or no?
No,
I don't think
I don't think
it's possible
it's possible
to tell anything
to tell anything
about a person's character
about a person's
just
characters
from a photo.
just from a photo.
Very good. Why is it harder to tell if someone's joking or serious in a text message than in speech? Why is it harder to tell if someone's joking or serious in a text message than in speech? It's harder
It's
to
harder
tell if someone's
to tell if someone
joking or serious
joking or serious
in a text message
in a text message
than in speech
than in speech
because we
because
can't see their face
we can't see their
or
face
hear their voice.
or hear the voice.
Their voice.
Ah, their voice.
Very good. If a police officer was about to arrest a friend of yours, would it be a crime if you tried to interfere? If a police officer was about to arrest a friend of yours, would it be a crime if you tried to interfere? Yes or no?
Yes,
If a police officer
if a police
was
officer
about to arrest
was about to
a
arrest
friend of mine,
a friend of mine,
it would be a crime
it will be a crime
if I tried
if I tried
to interfere.
to interfere.
Very good. Do you think a young person should be allowed to plan their own future without the interference of their parents? Do you think a young person should be allowed to plan their own future without the interference of their parents? Yes or no?
Yes,
I think
I
a
think
young person
a young person
should be allowed
to be
to
allowed
plan their own future
to plan their own future
without the interference
without the their
without the interference
without the interference
of their parents.
of their parents
Very good. Why? Why? Because it's
because
their own life.
yes, it's their own life.
Very good. Okay, next. When somebody is married, what do they call their parents, or their partner's mother and father? When somebody is married, what do they call their partner's mother and father? When somebody
When somebody
is married,
is married,
they call their partners
they call their partners
mother and father,
mother and father,
their mother-in-law
their mother-in-law
and father-in-law.
and father-in-law.
Very good. What's a brother-in-law? What's a brother-in-law? A brother-in-law
A brother-in-law
is the brother
is the
of
brother
our wife
of our
or
wife
husband.
or husband.
Very good. What's the plural of brother-in-law? What's the plural of brother-in-law? The plural
The plural
of brother-in-law
of brother-in-law
is brothers-in-law.
is brothers-in-law.
Very good. Okay. Next. Here we go. What do we call the three classes into which many societies in the world are divided? What do we call the three classes into which many societies in the world are divided? We call
We call
the three classes
the three classes
into which
into which
many people
many people
in societies
in societies
in the
in the
world
world
are divided:
are divided.
the upper class,
The upper class,
the upper class,
the upper class,
the middle class,
the middle class,
and the working class.
and the working class.
Very good. What do we mean when we say someone is upper class? What do we mean if we say someone is upper class? When we say
When we say
someone
someone
is upper class,
is upper
we
class,
mean they are
we mean they
very
are
rich
very
or
rich
have a lot of power
or have a lot of power
in society.
in society.
Very good. Is this the upper part of my head? Is this the upper part of my head? No,
No,
that isn't
that isn't
the upper part
the upper
of
part
your head.
of your head.
It's the lower part
It's the lower part
of your head.
of your head.
Very good. How is it sometimes possible for a shop to make more profit if it lowers the prices of its goods? How is it sometimes possible for a shop to make more profit if it lowers the prices of its goods? If some It's sometimes possible
It's sometimes possible
for a shop
for a shop
to make more profit
to make more profit
if it lowers
if it
the
lowers
prices
the
of its
prices
goods
of its goods
because a lot more people
because a lot of more people
decide to buy
decide to buy
its goods.
its goods.
Very good. In writing, what do we mean by uppercase letter and lowercase letters? In writing, what do we mean by uppercase letters and lowercase letters? In writing,
In writing,
by uppercase
by
and
uppercase
lowercase letters,
and lowercase
we
letters,
mean capital letters
we mean capital letters
and small letters.
and small letters.
Very good. What does it generally mean when a pupil raises their hand during a lesson? What does it generally mean when a pupil raises their hand during a lesson? When a pupil
When a pupil
raises their hand
raises their hand
during a lesson,
during the lesson,
it generally means
it generally
they
means
want to ask a question
they want to ask the question
or to be excused.
or to be excused.
That is,
That
to be
is,
given permission
to be given permission
to leave the room.
to leave the room.
Very good. Which do you imagine are more expensive to raise, children or race horses? Which do you imagine are more expensive to raise, children or race horses? I think.
I think
Which one? Children or race horses?
race horses
Are more expensive
are more expensive
to raise
to raise
than
than,
children.
than children.
Very good. What do we call an organization that raises money for good cause in society? What do we call an organization that raises money for good cause in society? We call an organization
We call an organization
that raises money
that raises money
for good cause
for a good
in
cause
society
in society,
charity.
charity.
Very good. Okay. If you were a great person, what kind of monument would you like the public to raise in your honor after you were dead? If you're a great person, what kind of monument would you like the public to raise in your honor after you were dead? If I were
If I
a
were
great person,
a great person,
I'd like
I'd like
the people
the people
to raise a statue
to raise a statue
in my honor
in my honor
after I was dead.
after I was dead.
Very good. Where do religious people go to worship? Where do religious people go to worship? Religious people
Religious people
go to worship
go to worship
in a church,
in a church,
mosque,
mosque,
synagogue,
synagogue,
temples,
temples,
etc.
etc.
Very good. How does a cowboy keep his cattle together? How does a cowboy keep his cattle together? A cowboy
A cowboy
keep his cattle together
keep his cattle together
by riding around
by
them
riding around them
on a horse
on a horse
or motorbike?
or a motorbike.
Very good. As regards cooking, do you think you'd better than average, average, or worse than average, or useless? As
Worse
regards
than-
cooking, do you think you're better than average, average, worse than average, or useless? As regards cooking,
As as regards cooking,
I think I'm
I think I'm
which one? Average, more than average, worse than average, or useless?
worse than average.
Worse than average. Me too. Okay, next. What happens to harvest time? What happens to harvest time? Farmers gather
Farmers gather
their crops
their crops
at harvest time.
at harvest time.
Very good. Which would you say were the three most successful countries in the world as regards sports? Which would you say were the three most successful countries in the world as regards sports? I'd say
I'd
the
say
three
the three
most successful countries
most successful
in the
countries
world
in the
as
world
regards sports
as regards sports
were USA,
were USA,
China,
China,
and Russia.
and Russia.
Very good. Okay, next. What do you think is the key to a successful friendship? What do you think is the key to a successful friendship? I think the key
I think the key
to a successful friendship
to a successful friendship
is being honest
is being
to
honest
each other.
to each other.
Very good. What does a football manager mean when they talk about somebody as a key player? What does a football manager mean when they talk about somebody as a key player? When a football manager
When a football manager
talk about somebody
talk about somebody
as their key player,
as their key player,
they mean
they mean
they're an important player
they are an important player
without whom
without whom
the team
the
would
team
probably
would probably
not successful.
not successful.
Very good. Okay, so that's the end of revision. Let's move on to new word. Okay, very good. Okay, so let's start new word. Okay, repeat. Rail,
Rail,
railing,
railing,
run,
run,
protection,
protection,
balcony.
balcony.
Very good. Okay, listen. So the word rail is a piece of metal or wood which is long and thin. The word run means to cause to move or something. So run as a verb means running. Run also means to move or to go. For example, we call a train a railway train because it runs on rails. Okay, let's practice. What's a rail? What's a rail? A rail
A rail,
is a piece of metal
a piece of metal
or wood
or wood
which is long
which is long
and thin.
and thin.
Why do we call a train a railway train? Why do we call a train a railway train? We call a train
We call a
a
train
railway train
a railway train
because it runs
because it runs
on rails.
on rails.
Very good. Okay, next listen. The word protection is a noun. It is the condition or state of being kept safe from injury, damage, or loss. Railings are several pieces of metal or wood which we put around things for protection. The word balcony is a noun. It is a raised platform that is connected to the side of a building and surrounded by low wall or railing, like a terrace. For example, we find railings on a balcony to stop people from falling. Okay, so we stop there for today.